Let me paint this for you. Thursday evening. You've been cooking since 5. Nothing fancy, just chicken piccata, the one she used to request on date nights back when she still requested things. Lemon cuts through the kitchen air. Your 4-year-old is upstairs, finally asleep after 3 books and a glass of water. Table's set. 2 plates. 2 glasses. A candle you dug out from the back of the drawer. You hear the garage door. She's home from pottery class. You straighten up. Not nervous, just ready. It's been weeks since you've eaten together without the kid between you. She walks in, sets her bag on the counter, looks at the table, looks at you, and she sighs. Not a tired sigh. Not an, oh, that's sweet sigh. The kind of sigh a person makes when they've been asked the same question too many times. Woodrow, she says. You're too needy. She picks up her bag, walks past the table, past the chicken, past the candle, goes upstairs. You hear the bedroom door close. You stand there, lemon on your hands, steam rising from the pan. Through the kitchen window, you catch the taillights of a truck pulling away from the curb. 3 houses down. Chester Pennington's truck. That was my kitchen, my dinner, my wife. My name is Woodrow Ives. And that word, needy, it did something she never expected. Elaine and I met 7 years ago. I was remodeling a duplex off Riverside Drive here in Tulsa, and she came by with the property manager to check the progress. Watched me work for 20 minutes before she said a word. Told me later that's when she knew. Watching a man build something with his hands. I'm a contractor. Have been since I was 19. Started with my uncle's crew, got my own license at 24, ran 3 jobs by 28. Not rich, but solid. Enough to buy a house on the south side, put a workshop out back, and build a life that felt like it was going somewhere. Skip came along 4 years ago. Named him after my grandfather. From the day he was born, that boy rewired everything. I'd come home from a job site covered in drywall dust, and he'd reach for me anyway. That kind of trust changes a man. The good years were real. I need you to know that. Elaine laughing in the passenger seat, windows down on Highway 75. Her reading to Skip on the porch while I stained the deck rails. Sunday mornings at Brookside. Pancakes at the diner, walk through the park, Skip riding my shoulders like he owned the sky. The shift started about 6 months before that Thursday. Small at first. Elaine signed up for a yoga class. Monday evenings. Fine. Then pottery on Wednesdays. Then a book club on Fridays. By the time I noticed the pattern, she was gone 4 evenings a week. Home by 10. Straight to bed. I'd have Skip fed, bathed, and reading by the time she walked in. She'd kiss his forehead if he was still up, peck my cheek, and disappear upstairs. I told myself she needed space. People need their own thing. That's what you say when the alternative is too heavy to hold. Her friend Della Hawthorne reinforced it. Della lived in one of those new condos on Cherry Street. Divorced, no kids, opinions for days. Every time Elaine came back from coffee with Della, she seemed a little more certain that my presence was the problem. Men need to learn to give women space, Della told her. I heard it through the phone once. You're doing exactly the right thing. Here's where it gets honest. Stay with me. There's a woman on my crew. Lauren. Handles project coordination. Smart, straightforward, nothing inappropriate between us. But one morning in March, she handed me a coffee and said, "You look tired, Woodrow. Everything okay at home?" Nobody had asked me that in months. And I caught myself. Not wanting her, not like that. Just wondering what it would feel like to have someone actually hear me when I speak. To say rough week, and have it land somewhere instead of bouncing off a closed door. That thought scared me more than anything Elaine had said or done. Because I'm not that man. I don't look sideways. I don't wonder. But when you reach for someone for 6 straight months and get nothing back, your mind starts reaching somewhere else just to prove you're still alive. I went out to the workshop that night. Picked up a piece of oak I had no use for. Started sanding. Back and forth. Sawdust settling on my arms, my face. Could taste it on my lips. An hour of sanding something that didn't need sanding. And I made a quiet decision. Not dramatic. Not calculated. I just stopped reaching. Monday. Made dinner for Skip and me. Ate at the table. Elaine came home at 10. I said good night and walked to the workshop. Tuesday. She mentioned something about her book club. I said sounds good, without looking up from Skip's puzzle. Wednesday. No good morning text. First time in 4 years. Thursday. She asked if I wanted to watch something after Skip went down. Heading to bed early. I wasn't tired. Just empty. Friday. Took Skip to the Tulsa City County Library downtown. Quiet section, 2nd floor. Sat in a chair by the window, pretending to read while he worked on a coloring book. I wasn't reading. I was just breathing. First real breath in months. Saturday, Sunday, same. Polite. Present. Hello. Elaine didn't notice for 2 weeks. That's the part that confirmed everything I didn't want to believe. 14 days of silence from the man who used to text her 3 times before lunch, and the person who was supposed to know me best didn't hear a thing. Week 3. Tuesday morning. I'm making Skip's pancakes. Elaine comes downstairs. Stands in the doorway. I can feel her watching. You didn't text me yesterday. I flipped a pancake. Didn't have anything to say. You always text me. I used to. She stared, trying to figure out which version of me this was. But there was no version. There was just a man who ran out of words she'd actually hear. That night, 11:47, the first long paragraph arrived. I feel like you're pulling away from me. I don't know what I did, but we need to talk. I miss how we used to be. Can we please just sit down and talk about this? I read it. Typed. Okay. Went to sleep. The paragraphs kept coming. Every night. Longer each time. I feel like you've changed. You don't look at me the same way. What happened to the man who used to cook me dinner? He's still here. He just stopped serving it to someone who called it needy. I didn't say that. I said nothing. One-word answers. Read receipts. Not punishment. I just didn't have anything left to give that she hadn't already labeled a burden. Then she told people. Found out through my buddy Reggie. We were grabbing lunch at a taco place on Brookside. He got quiet, stirred his drink, then said, "Hey man, Elaine posted some stuff. Thought you should know. Instagram stories. About feeling alone in a marriage. About when your partner just shuts down and you're left picking up the pieces. Vague enough to seem universal. Specific enough that anyone who knew us recognized the target. The man who built her kitchen with his own hands was getting sympathy reacted by people who'd never met him. My wife was broadcasting our marriage to strangers who would never ask my side. And I was the last to know. Here's what I learned about Elaine's version. In her story, she was the one trying. She was the one reaching out. She was the one being ignored by a man who changed overnight. Della's comments under the post confirmed the whole narrative. Heart emojis, stay strong queen, the full performance. I wasn't angry. I was something worse. I was done being surprised. Then Saturday morning. Something shifted. I'm in the workshop with Skip. He's sitting on a stool watching me cut trim boards, wearing safety glasses 3 sizes too big for his face, looking like a tiny building inspector. Door opens. Elaine, holding 2 cups of coffee. She hands me one. Sits on the workbench. I've been thinking, she said. Voice different. Softer. I haven't been fair to you. I looked at her. Really looked. I've been so caught up in my classes, in Della, in all of it. And you've been here. With Skip. Being the person I forgot to appreciate. My chest did something. That feeling where hope and hurt share the same space, and you can't tell which one is breathing. I want to be better, she said. Skip looked up from his board. Mommy's staying? Mommy's staying, baby. I wanted to believe it. And for about 4 days, I did. She made breakfast Wednesday. Left a note on the counter. I'm glad you're here. Came home early from yoga. Sat with us for dinner. Touched my arm when she passed me in the hallway. Small things that felt enormous after months of nothing. Wednesday evening. Came home early from a job site. Skip was at my mom's. House quiet. Elaine's phone was on the kitchen counter. It buzzed. I didn't pick it up. Didn't need to. The preview was right there. Della Hawthorne. How's the apology tour going? Is he buying it? 5 words that rewrote 4 days. The coffee. The note. The soft voice. I want to be better. All choreographed. Della was coaching her through a performance, and Elaine was reporting back like it was a school project. I picked up the phone. Shouldn't have, but I did. Weeks of messages. Everything I'd said in what I thought was the privacy of our home. Elaine had exported to Della. Our bedroom conversations. Our kitchen silences. My withdrawal, day by day, annotated and analyzed by a divorced woman on Cherry Street who treated my marriage like a strategy game. Della's advice was consistent. Give him attention for a week, he'll reset. Men are simple like that. And underneath, weeks of Elaine's earlier messages. Telling Della I was emotionally absent. Telling her I never want to do anything fun. Telling her the marriage was suffocating. The woman who spent 4 evenings a week away from home called her marriage suffocating. I set the phone down exactly where I found it. Washed my hands. Started dinner. When Elaine came downstairs, she smiled. Hey, how was your day? Fine. She had no idea what I'd seen. And for now, I was going to let her keep not knowing. That Friday, Elaine's brother Trent called. Needed $8,000. Truck repair and a business loan that went sideways. Trent's specialty was problems that needed someone else's checkbook. Elaine brought it up at dinner. Skip eating mac and cheese, oblivious. Trent needs help, she said. No. She looked at me like I'd spoken another language. He's my brother, Woodrow. He's a grown man with grown man problems. We've always helped family. We've always helped your family. Your family has never once asked how we're doing. You've changed. I set my fork down. Looked her straight in the eye. No. You just started noticing. She went upstairs. Within 10 minutes, I heard her voice through the ceiling, on the phone with Della. Animated. Outraged. The word impossible drifted down twice. Skip looked at me with cheese on his chin. Daddy, why is Mommy mad? She wanted something I couldn't give, buddy. Like a real dinosaur? Exactly like a real dinosaur. The next week was the worst kind of quiet. Elaine stopped sending paragraphs. Stopped mentioning Trent. Stopped trying altogether. She came home from her classes, went upstairs, closed the door. It was like she'd decided if the warm approach didn't work and the guilt approach didn't work, she'd try nothing. See if the absence of pressure was its own kind of pressure. And here's what got me. It almost worked. Because when she stopped performing, she almost looked like the woman I married. Coming downstairs in the morning, quiet. Making her own coffee without looking at me for approval. Just existing. I caught myself wondering if this was who she actually was underneath all of it. Then I heard her on the phone Tuesday night. Couldn't help it. She was in the bathroom, door cracked, voice low but not low enough. He won't budge, she told Della. I've tried everything. The apology, the tears, giving him space. Nothing. A pause. I know. But he's different now. The old Woodrow would have caved by now. The old Woodrow. Like I was a software version she was trying to roll back. Maybe Chester can talk to him, Della said. I heard it through the speaker. Man to man. Elaine was quiet for a second. Maybe. That was the night I understood. It wasn't going to stop. Della wasn't going to stop. Chester wasn't going to stop. Elaine wasn't going to wake up and realize the problem wasn't strategy. The problem was that she'd turned her marriage into a problem to be managed instead of a life to be lived. Let me tell you about Chester Pennington. 3 houses down. Retired early from some insurance outfit. Always available. Always helpful. The kind of man who shows up with a toolbox when he sees your garage door sticking. Didn't think twice about it at first. Neighbors help neighbors. That's how it works in Tulsa. But Chester started showing up more. A loose gutter one week. A squeaky hinge the next. The porch light Elaine mentioned was flickering. A 12-minute job for me. Chester handled it on a Tuesday while I was at work. And he listened. That was Chester's real skill. He'd lean against the doorframe while Elaine talked about her classes, her frustrations, her loneliness in a house her husband built. He'd nod. Agree. Offer to come back Thursday to look at the water heater. I counted his truck 3 times in 1 week. Came home early one Thursday. Chester's truck in the driveway. I walked through the side gate and there he was, on my back porch, coffee mug in hand, laughing at something Elaine just said. She was sitting on the porch swing I'd hung the week Skip was born. They both went quiet when they saw me. Hey Woodrow, Chester said. Easy smile. Just tighten the swing chain. Was getting a little loose. I looked at the chain. It wasn't loose. I'd checked it 2 weeks ago. Appreciate it, I said. Kept my voice level. Went inside. Chester fixed the bathroom faucet. Elaine said that evening. I build houses for a living, Elaine. Well, you're never here when things break. I'm never here because I'm working so we can live here. I didn't say that. I just watched. And what I started seeing was a pattern, not hers with him, but his with her. Chester wasn't fixing things. Chester was making himself indispensable in a house where the husband was supposedly failing. Every leaky faucet, every squeaky hinge, each one a reason to come back. Each one a conversation. Each conversation an hour of Elaine feeling heard by someone who wasn't me. Not an affair, I'll say that plainly, but something that lived close enough to share a fence. And Chester knew exactly what he was building. Last Sunday of March. Skip was napping. Elaine sat across from me at the kitchen table. Her eyes were red. Real red, not camera ready. I need to tell you something, she said. I waited. I was scared. Her voice cracked. Not the Della kind of cracking. This was raw. I was scared of how much you loved me. How steady you were. It felt like pressure. Like if I wasn't enough for you, you'd eventually see it and leave. She reached across the table. Took my hand. You were never needy, Woodrow. I said that because I didn't know what to do with someone who showed up every single day. I didn't have the words for it. I'll be honest with you, that one landed. It landed hard. Because it didn't sound like Della's script. It sounded like a woman who'd been running from the one thing she actually needed and finally stopped. I almost said, then let's start over. Then her phone buzzed on the table. Face up. Della's name. Elaine's eyes flickered. Just for a second. The math of whether to check it now or wait. She chose to wait. Squeezed my hand tighter. But I'd already seen the calculation. Even in her most honest moment, maybe the most honest 30 seconds of our marriage, Della was still in the room. Still on the table. Still buzzing. Some cracks you can't unsee. Some words you can't unhear. And some decisions don't get made. They just reveal themselves, one small betrayal at a time, until you realize they were made long ago. That night. Workshop. Same piece of oak. Same sandpaper. Back and forth. Sawdust on my arms, my face, between my fingers. An hour of sanding something that was already smooth. The door opened. Small footsteps. Daddy. Skip. Pajamas. Stuffed elephant under one arm. Hey, buddy. What are you doing up? Why is mommy crying? I put the sandpaper down. Picked him up. He smelled like soap and toothpaste, and everything that still made sense. Sometimes grown-ups feel sad about things that are hard to explain. Are you sad, Daddy? Not right now. He put his head on my shoulder. 4 years old and 40 pounds of everything that mattered. Monday morning. I called Marshall Mercer. Divorce attorney. Office on 5th. Quiet reputation. The kind of lawyer who doesn't need a billboard. 7-year marriage. 4-year-old son. I need to protect what's mine. Come in Wednesday. I went. Signed the initial papers. Drove back to a job site and framed walls until dark. The physical work helped. Always does. Here's the thing about making a decision like that. There's no soundtrack. No slow motion walk to the truck. You sign your name, shake a hand, drive to a job, and frame a wall. Life keeps moving because it doesn't know you just changed yours. I kept the business card in my shirt pocket. Forgot it was there. Elaine found it Thursday. She was doing laundry, something she'd restarted as part of whatever new campaign Della designed. Marshall Mercer, attorney at law. I was in the kitchen when she came downstairs holding that card like a photograph of something dying. What is this? A business card. For a divorce lawyer, Woodrow. Yes. You're leaving me? I'm protecting myself. And Skip. She started crying. Not the Sunday kind. The real kind. Ugly, from the gut, the kind that makes your whole body shake. The kind you can't choreograph. You can't do this. We can fix this. I'll quit everything. The classes, Della, all of it. Whatever you want. I don't want anything from you, Elaine. That's the part you keep missing. That's not true. You love me. I know you do. I loved you when I cooked you dinner and you walked past it. I loved you when I texted you every morning and got nothing back. I loved you when I sat with our son every night while you were at pottery. I loved you through all of it. And you called it needy. She was shaking. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. You were. And then you told Della. And then you told Instagram. And then you sent Chester to fix things I could have fixed with my eyes closed. How did you? I didn't have to look hard, Elaine. You just stopped being careful. She sat down on the kitchen chair, hands in her lap, looking at me the way you look at someone who's already left the room, even though they're still standing in it. I wanted you to eat dinner with me 6 months ago. I wanted you to notice I went quiet. I wanted you to stop giving our story to people who don't live in it. You called me needy for loving you out loud. I'm not needy anymore. Silence. The kitchen clock. The fridge humming. Skip's coloring books on the table between us. 20 minutes later, Chester Pennington's truck pulled into the driveway. I watched through the kitchen window. He got out, walked to the front door like he belonged there. Knocked twice. I opened it. Chester had his hands in his pockets. That helpful look. Hey, Woodrow. Elaine called, said she was upset. Just thought I'd check in. I looked at this man, standing on my porch, in front of the house I built with these hands, checking on my wife. Chester. Quiet. Level. My house. My son. My life. You're not needed here anymore. The helpful mask dropped. What was underneath it wasn't helpful at all. It was a man who'd been caught in a place he had no business standing. I was just trying to. I know exactly what you were trying. Good night, Chester. Closed the door. Locked it. Watched through the curtain as he stood there 10 seconds. Then walked to his truck without looking back. Elaine was on the couch. Mascara on her cheeks. He was just a friend, Woodrow. Friends don't drive over when your husband hires a lawyer. She had nothing for that. Marshall handled everything. Clean, thorough, no drama. I asked for Skip, primary custody. The house. My workshop. Elaine didn't fight it the way I expected. Somewhere under the Instagram posts and Della's coaching, I think she knew. The paragraphs kept coming. Every night. Longer now. I didn't mean what I said that night. You were never needy. You were the only person who ever really tried. I was scared of how much you loved me, and I destroyed it. I read every one. Owed her that much. But I didn't write back. Not because I was punishing her, because I'd already said everything in 6 months of silence, and she'd heard none of it. Della Hawthorne stopped coming around. The woman who coached my wife through a wall had no interest in the rubble. Chester Pennington started parking in his own garage. Elaine moved to an apartment on 21st Street. 2 bedrooms. Skip goes weekends. She's trying. I'll give her that. A Saturday in April. Tulsa City County Library. Quiet section, 2nd floor. My chair by the window, the one with the worn armrest. Skip is next to me with a coloring book. He's working on a fire truck, staying inside the lines, which is new for him. Getting better every week. My phone buzzes on the armrest. I glance at the screen. Another paragraph. Long. I turn the phone face down. Skip looks up. Daddy, what are you reading? I look at the book in my hands. Haven't turned a page in 20 minutes. Something new, buddy. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.